Speech.
Our distinguished colleague, the chairman of the Committee on Labor, Senator Jingo Estrada of the City of San Juan, is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. As your chairperson of the Senate Committee on Labor, Employment, and Human Resources Development, it is my honor to present today to this august chamber Senate Bill number 2534 under Committee Report number 190, entitled An Act Providing for a 100 pesos daily minimum wage increase for employees and workers in the private sector. This proposal is a consolidation of Senate Bill number 2002 filed by Senate President Mig Subiri with Senators Ligarda, Binay, and Go as co-authors, and Senate Bill number 2018 by Senator Ramon Bong Revilla Jr. Consistent with the constitutional precepts to alleviate the living conditions of ordinary Filipinos through policies that provide for a rising standard of living and improved quality of life, particularly of the working class, by guaranteeing their right to a decent pay. It is the aim of this committee and the collective conscience of this Senate to update the minimum wage by 100 pesos for workers in the private sector. Under this measure, all employees in the private sector in the entire country, whether agricultural or non-agricultural, are entitled to 100 peso minimum wage increase. This would guarantee an increased daily pay for around 4.2 million minimum wage earners. Let me just give some retrospect. The last legislated wage hike that was implemented in the country dates back to 1989 with the enactment of Republic Act number 6727, or the Wage Rationalization Act, which effectively declared that wages would be set on a regional basis by the regional wage boards. To answer workers' clamor, Mr. President, almost all regional wage boards have issued wage orders last year to increase the minimum daily wage rates in their respective regions, ranging from 30 pesos to 89 pesos. And we are not stopping there. The Senate's effort to legislate an increase in minimum wages augments the wage increases already issued by the regional wage boards. Thus, after consideration of the existing socio-economic conditions and positions of various sectors, it is incumbent upon us to propose a daily pay hike to help alleviate the burden of Filipinos in the face of soaring prices of basic commodities and rising cost of living. We cannot turn a blind eye on the injustice to and the economic conditions of our workers, who are considered the lifeblood of our economy. Ginoong Pangulo, tapatin po natin ang kasulukuyang minimum wage sa iba't ibang rehiyon na nasa 306 pesos hanggang 610 pesos ay hindi sapat upang bumuhay ng kahit isang maliit na pamilya sa araw-araw. Computin po natin, Ginoong Pangulo. Halimbawa, 7,344 pesos ang buwanang sahod na matatanggap ng manggagawa sa isang retail establishment na tumatanggap ng 306 pesos per day. Ikaltas mo pang SSS, Pag-ibig at PhilHealth, may tuturing na siyang mahirap sapagkat ang national poverty threshold ay 9,686 lamang. Samantala, ang pinakamataas na sahod na 610 pesos mula sa Kalakhang, Maynila o dito sa Metro Manila ay makakatanggap naman ng 14,640 pesos kada buwan. Mas mataas lamang ng kaunti sa near poor threshold na 12,400. While minimum wage in Metro Manila for the non-agricultural sector consistently recorded the highest basic pay in the country at 610 pesos per day, however, the actual daily pay is eroded by inflation. The real value of the minimum wage, which reflects the inflation-adjusted rates using the Consumer Price Index, has fallen to 514 pesos and 50 centavos in the capital as of July 2023, and further decreased to 504 pesos for October of 2024. And this scenario is replicated across all regions. Talagang nakakaawa ang ating mga manggagawa. Hindi pa rin talaga abot sa pangangailangan para mabuhay at matugunan ang pangangailangan ng mga manggagawa na may 5 miyembro ng pamilya. Sa kasulukuyang antas ng minimum wage, kulang ang budget para i-treat man lamang sa Jollibee o ibang restaurant ang kanilang pamilya, maski isang beses dahil ubos na sa pangunahing pangangailangan pa lamang. Bagamat ang inflation ay bumabagal, nasa 2.8% nitong January 2024, hindi ibig sabihin nito ay bumababa na rin ang presyo ng mga bilihin. Sa katunayan, ang rice inflation ay pumalo sa 22.6%, ang pinakamataas na antas mula March of 2009, at patuloy pa ang pagtaas ng ibang mga bilihin sa kabila ng patuloy na pagtaas ng presyo ng kuryente at gasolina. While we have seen inflation at a downward trend, economists expect that inflation headache from rising food prices will likely persist until 2025. The status quo simply cannot achieve this. But with this legislative push, this means that a typical family of 5 needs to work 2 full-time minimum wage jobs to earn a living wage. The current minimum wage is even further away from meeting the basic needs of workers' families. It was estimated that a family of 5 needs at least 8,379 pesos per month to meet just their basic food requirements. That translates to about 280 pesos for food expenses alone in 2021. But in reality, Mr. President, this amount seems not enough considering the current prices of basic commodities. Ginoong Pangulo, sa bigas pa lamang, lagpas 50 pesos na ang 1 kilo. Higit pa hindi pa magandang klase yan. Dagdagan mo pa ng lulutuing karne o gulay o pambili ng lutong ulam sa karinderya. Mr. President, even with this wage hike bill, the difference between the minimum wage and the cost of living, or the family living wage, is glaring. But this is the most that we can propose, balancing the welfare of workers and businesses. Bagamat kinikilala natin ang wage hikes na ipinatupad kamakailan ng regional wage boards, tila nabura na ito ng patuloy na pagtaas ng presyo ng pangunahing bilihin. Kaya naman natin minumungkahi ito. Ang pagtaas ng sahod ng mga manggagawa sa mas disenteng level ay napapanahon at talagang kailangan para ipantay kahit papano sa pagtaas ng presyo ng ating mga bilihin. Pinakinggan po natin ang hinaing ng ating mga manggagawa sa matagal ng humihiling ng aumento. At ito na ang tugon ng inyong Senado sa mga panawagang yon. This statutory increase, if passed into law, would also result in increased purchasing power and would stimulate economic activity, thereby contributing to national growth. This wage hike bill would also help attain our goal of reducing poverty incidence rates in the coming years to have a prosperous, predominantly middle-class society where no one is poor by 2040. Under the Philippine Development Plan, the government is targeting to reduce the poverty incidence rate to 13.2% by 2025 and to 9% by 2028. Mr. President, recognizing the struggles of low-income households that are bearing the brunt of high prices, this initiative demonstrates the Senate's belief that our workers who are creating value for the companies deserve a dignified wage and ultimately respect. Bilang pinuno ng Senate Committee on Labor, naniniwala po tayo na para sa ordinaryong manggagawa. Makakatulong ang taas sahod na ito para pambili ng bigas at ulam, pamasahe at pandagdag maski sa maliit na halaga sa pang-araw-araw na gastusin. We also hope that after this legislative initiative, our regional wage boards would work expeditiously and be more sympathetic, proactive, and responsive to the needs and plight of our workers. Maraming salamat po, Ginoong Pangulo.
Thank you, Majority Leader.